Hi, Carrie here from My Cloud Bookkeeping. I work with small businesses and entrepreneurs to help them to get set up in QuickBooks Online. One of the main questions that I get asked is, how do I categorize things properly? And as you may have noticed, the interface in QuickBooks Online has completely changed again. So I thought it might be time to revisit how you can add and edit your categories in the chart of accounts. The categories in the chart of accounts feed your income statement and your balance sheet. At the end, I'll show you how to run your reports to ensure that the information flows through as it should and that your reports are accurate. Be sure to stay to the end so you can understand the results of all your hard work.
So here we are in the sample company, and find your way to accounting, either here if you've got it pinned or through My Apps Accounting. And we're going to go to the chart of accounts. Now, once it's open, you can collapse this navigation bar here to give yourself a little bit more space. So select New Account at the top right, and I'm going to create an account that's called Credit Card Fees. And the account type here, if you scroll down, you can see that it's not any of these things. When we get down to the bottom here, it's an expense, which makes sense. And there's this wonderful little preview down the bottom here. You can see it shows up in your profit and loss. It's going to show up here in alphabetical order. If you made it a sub account or did something different with it, you'd be able to see here where it's showing up. When I choose a detail type, please don't overthink your detail type. I'm just going to go with bank charges. I'll show you what I meant earlier about this sub-account thing. So if we make this a sub-account of bank charges, which you may or may not want to do, you can see it pops it in under here. Now I'm going to choose not to do this because I don't like to post any expenses to a header account, and bank charges would be going into that header account with credit card fees underneath, and that would be a little bit messy. So I'm going to save this. Now let's use this new account that we've set up. It's a little confusing because we're in the chart of accounts. We've created a new account, but elsewhere QuickBooks refers to these as categories. Often when people come to add an account, they get a little bit confused thinking it's a bank account. Your chart of accounts is made up of accounts that are also called categories. I hope that doesn't make it more confusing. But let's pop to create here, and we're going to create an expense. And the expense that we're going to create, we're going to say it's from our checking account. The payment date's today. I'm going to pop it into the category. See, here's where that word category appears, which I think is confusing. We're going to go credit card fees from our checking account on November 11 for $15. Let's do that. And then we're going to save and close. So we've recorded an expense. Let's have a quick look at our profit and loss. I always like to go and look at the report so you can see where what you're doing shows up in your reports for later. So we'll run a profit and loss, and it's this year to date. Fantastic. I'm going to scroll down here and let's have a look at our credit card fees. Here it is, $15. So you can see how this works when you're recording expenses to the new category that we've put into the profit and loss. So now let's have a look at how we edit the things that we have in our chart of accounts. Not too sure if you've been using this navigation bar up the top here, but you can use this now to move to different sections. There are so many ways to do the same things in QuickBooks. You find your favorite way. So editing an existing account is where we will either want to change the name, we want to change the account type for where it shows up, or maybe just make it a sub account of something as we did earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here into the expenses section. You can see here these are expenses. We have job expenses. Job expenses, cost of labor, installation, typically these belong in your cost of goods sold. It's a very common error that I see, but these things should be being deducted from income so you can see your gross margin before you go into your operating expenses. So I'm going to be sure that we change these job expenses to cost of goods sold. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you how it doesn't work, and then we'll get it to work, okay? So I'm going to pop across here, and I'm going to click Edit. And I'm going to say, I don't want this to be an expense anymore. I want this to go in cost of goods sold. First of all, it says, do you know what you're doing? And yes, I do. But then when I try to save it, let's see what happens. It says I can't do it because there are sub-accounts, which is what I was expecting to see. So what we want to do now is take a look at our job expenses down here again, scroll back down, and we need to stop these being sub-accounts. So I'd make a note of them because if you're doing this, you're going to want to be able to find them again, okay? So maintenance and repairs, installation, cost of labor. Let's just take a little closer look here. So these are the ones here that I'm going to be looking at right here. Okay, so we're going to make a note of those and we're going to click and make them no longer sub-accounts. Okay, so we edit this one and we say, okay, it's not a sub-account anymore. We save that. I have to scroll down again, I'm afraid. Scroll back down to our job expenses here and we grab installation. And we're going to edit this and make it no longer a sub-account. Okay, and save. Cost of labor, there we are. Let's make this one no longer a sub-account. There we go, save. So now we should be able to move the job cost expenses. So back down to expenses again. And here we have, where are they? Where have they gone? Job expenses. So let's see. I think this one still has the 2 sub-accounts under it, doesn't it? I'm going to go offline and remove these sub-accounts. You don't need to see how to do that again, and I'll be right back. So now we can see that job expenses here no longer has any sub-accounts. So we can change this to be a cost of goods sold type account. So we're going to pop into edit. We're going to change this here to cost of goods sold. And yes, we do know what we're doing, and the detail type is just going to be cost of goods sold. I wonder, do we have that option? Job expenses, I don't want to put it to labor. I just want to put it to cost of goods sold. As I probably mentioned before, this is not an area that you want to overthink. It's just kind of go with what makes the most sense. So if you're looking at it thinking, well, that's not right, it really is not that important. So I'm going to click save. And now what we want to do is find those other categories that were sub-accounts of it before. So past income down to expenses. And we had, what did we have? We had maintenance and installation. I think also job labor, cost of labor. Here we go. That was one of them. So we're going to pop in here. We're going to edit this. We're going to change it to be a cost of goods sold category. Yes, we know what we're doing. And I'm not sure if it'll let us make it a sub-account right now, but I'm going to try. Let's see if we can make it a sub-account of job expenses and save. Yes, that worked. Okay, pop down now. And actually, I'm going to use the search up here because that's going to be a little bit easier, I think. And let's see what we have for maintenance and repairs. This is the one that doesn't have any subs. This must be the one that we need to move. Do be careful, like a little bit more careful than I'm being here in the sample company, obviously, because you want to make sure that you are moving the correct accounts and that what you're editing makes sense. But I think when you're in real life, it's a little easier to not mess it up. And we're going to make it a sub-account of cost of labor. There it is. It pops up right there. And we can click save. And the other one we had was installation. Let me grab installation. Here it is once again, the one that doesn't have any subs, that's an expense. Pop in here, edit. We're going to move that to cost of goods sold. Yes, we know what we're doing, and we're going to make it a sub-account of cost of labor. Once again, that wasn't an option, but you can see that by typing it in, I found it very easily. And down here, we can see exactly what we've got. We've got cost of goods sold, which includes job expenses, labor, installation, maintenance, and repairs. There are also job materials that we have in our expenses section. So if we scroll down here, you can see these job materials. Those should be moved as well. Our job equipment rental, let's move that one. So all of these really should be showing up in our cost of goods sold. It's not something I'm going to do right now, but oh, that's weird. It just went back. Cost of goods sold. Yes, we know what we're doing. And this would come under equipment rental, cost of goods sold. Let's make it a sub of job expenses. There we go. And save. What we're going to do now is take a look at our profit and loss statement so that you can see what this means when we've moved something from expenses to cost of goods sold. So not only are you learning how to move things around and reclassify them, you're also learning what happens to your profit and loss and how you have more visibility into your numbers. So we have a look at the same report now, and we can see we have our total income here, and we have the job expenses that we've moved up here. When we look down further at this other job materials, those items also should be showing up here. And then we have our gross profit. I have another video talking about the income statement, explaining all of this, but it's really important. So when you're looking at where things show up, that's how you know whether or not your categories are correct and you need to edit them.
Hopefully, that will help you get the categories in the chart of accounts set up the way you want them. Now, obviously, the top priority is that your reports are accurate. By creating the categories you'd like to see, moving them around, and creating sub-accounts, hopefully your reports will also be useful and you can make better decisions in real time. Now, be sure to like and subscribe. I have a lot of new videos coming in the next months, so maybe ring that little bell too. Cheers.